Hi everyone. Today let's chat about quantitative research design. This is just an overview to give you a rough idea of how to go about designing quantitative research. This is my favorite fried chicken. Let's say I want to start a research out of this plate of fried chicken. What are my options? I could examine the relationship of the level of satisfaction, the cook's experience in preparing the fried chicken, as well as the time taken to prepare the fried chicken. I could carry out a correlational study, meaning I examine the relationship between these variables. And in this case here, we have independent variables and dependent variables. The cook's experience could have a correlation with the level of satisfaction, or maybe the time taken to prepare could have a correlation with the level of satisfaction. So I need to test it, that relationship. This kind of study is what we call the direct relationship study, meaning to say A and B. Or I might want to look at the indirect effect of the cook's experience. Maybe the time taken to prepare is moderated by the cook's experience and therefore affecting the level of satisfaction. Another option that I can take is I can study the differences of different methods. This is what we call the causal study. Probably I can use method 1 to prepare the fried chicken, that is using pan. Or method 2, I could use an air fryer to prepare the fried chicken. And whether there's any differences in the level of satisfaction if I'm using two different methods. So in a causal study, there will always be a pre-test and a post-test. Method 1, if I use pan, so I need to measure before I use it, and I need to measure again after I've used it. So therefore, the pre-test and post-test. So this chart gives you some ideas of the kind of differences that you can measure: pre-test, post-test, or pre-test of method 1 with pre-test of method 2, post-test of method 1, and post-test of method 2. Now this is very much depending on the kind of differences that you want to examine, the dependent variables that you want to examine. So to recap, correlational study examines the relationship between variables, whether there is a relationship between variable A or variable B. However, correlational study does not tell us the causality, meaning to say which variable affects the other variables. We cannot confirm unless you carry out a causal study. In social sciences, like educational research, often this involves the use of quasi-experimental design. Now, what is common here, whether it is correlational study or causal study, is there must be an underlying theory in a research design. The relationship between variables, there must be a theory that describes the relationship, and you are going to test the theory. That is why quantitative research usually is also called the test the theory approach. Going back to our correlational study, let's say I throw in the type of plates used or the size of the tablecloths used. Is there any relationship of these two variables with the level of satisfaction? Could it be the cook's experience has a relationship with the type of plates used and therefore the level of satisfaction? So correlational study examine the various possible variables, but all these variables must come from a theory that describes their possible relationship. So it cannot be something that you create out of nothing. So you must find the underpinning theory between these variables. So what's your question? Do you want to study the relationship of some independent variables and dependent variables? Or you want to study the differences, meaning the effectiveness of a tool, of a system, or an intervention? These are the fundamental questions that you have to think about at the planning stage of your research. Well, I hope this short video here gives you some ideas on where to start your research, and feel free to give you a comment in the comment below. Thank you.